These are the worst people in the country, like the most cowardly, fearful, but also violent and bloodthirsty people in the country. What's the good qualities about these folks? It attracts the kind of people that celebrate the things that they're doing and request more of it.
I'm really not that into it, nor do I really care that we're killing the drug boat guys trying to kill my kids and yours right now by bringing their fentanyl to the United States to try to get our kids when they go to college with, some drug in some moment of weakness where they think they're taking a Xanax, like what happened to poor Eric Bowling's child, and instead it's laced with fentanyl. So I really do kind of not only want to see them killed in the water, whether they're on the boat or in the water, but I'd really like to see them suffer. I would like Trump and Hegseth to make it last a long time so that they lose a limb and bleed out a little. Like, I'm really having a difficult time ginning up sympathy for these guys who 10 seconds earlier almost got taken out by the initial bomb, but because they managed to get ejected, a little too soon, had to be taken out in the water. I realize legally it may make a difference, but truly, Mark, this is a tough case to really gin up the sympathies of the American people.
Yeah, like I said, I share the premise that you just raised, because I think it's important that we do something to keep our porous border from being flooded with drugs that are killing our people. So if this is in service of that, I think it's something that should be considered.
And Hegseth says they did have sign-off from lawyers at the top of the DOJ and the military system on these strikes, though his memo's a little ambiguous on, what about the question of the two swimming in the water. In any event, I'm not going to lie, I'm glad they're dead.
Well, there that is. If anybody else had said that MAGA is all about bloodthirst and wanting to kill people and having absolutely zero due process, as a matter of fact, has fantasies like Megyn Kelly's having there about murdering more folks and thinking about their legs being blown off and then maybe they bleed out a little bit, maybe purposely torture them on top of these war crimes of already doing that. If anybody else had said that that's what these folks are about, they'd be like, look at all these nasty liberals talking trash about us. Look at these people pushing characterizations on us that don't exist. We're God-fearing people. Does that sound like a God-fearing person to you? Does that sound like someone who values life? Megyn Kelly's headed down this path, and she's not headed down, she's way down this path already. And I guess she's got so upset about never having an opportunity for those nationally broadcast talk shows that she got fired from. She's just on some warpath to be the worst human being possible. Don't forget, she also said the Epstein stuff and how she doesn't really care about that. And also that, maybe a 14-year-old girl, it's not so bad, but as long as they're not 6 or 7, then it's fine. Sorry, small tangent. A reporter caught up with Senator Mike Rounds. He's a Republican. He was also asked about what they feel about this whole thing falling apart in front of all their faces.
We ask you quickly for your take on this Venezuelan Caribbean boat strike. Are you confident in Secretary Hegseth's leadership right now?
The question is it'll be based on the facts as we find them out. We're going to have some discussions within the committee, but until such time as we know the full facts, we won't be making comments on it.
Well, when it's not just a full-throated defense without really knowing everything what's happening, once Republicans start saying, well, let's get the facts. Let's get the facts first before I say the obvious that these guys shouldn't have been doing this stuff, because I definitely don't want to be on camera saying that I'm all on board for this, because, these are war crimes. Let's stop acting like this is something else, because they're going to keep trying to push this narrative that it isn't. Here's what John Thune said, the Republican leader in the Senate. Andrew Desiderio, he said he asked about Hegseth leadership of DOD. Thune said, I don't have, at this point, I guess, an evaluation of the secretary. Others can make those evaluations. And then John Thune added that what matters is whether the country is safer, and under President Trump's leadership, that's the case. What measurement do they have that the country is safer under Donald Trump? Donald Trump saying so. What kind of measurement do they have that what they're doing with blowing up all these boats has anything to do with stopping narco terrorists? Donald Trump saying so. And again, as we're seeing right now, they're liars. Like we keep saying this, they're liars. Since they've been exposed as liars so many times, why believe him saying that they're blowing up these boats and they're stopping narco terrorists, or that America is safer because of their actions? Why believe any of it? Remember, they're liars. Here's Roger Wicker, who I believe is one of the Senate Republicans who's part of trying to get this investigation going. Senate Armed Services Chair Roger Wicker also says that he's spoken with Hegseth about the follow-up strike in the Caribbean. Here's a quote. I think it's best that we get our classified briefings so that we'll have the ground truth and also the documents and video. Not sure if they want to see video. I mean, considering the story keeps on changing. If the story keeps changing, when the video comes out, one of the things that they said has to be a lie because they've said two opposite things. Here's another Republican. I want to give you guys the full list. Here, Rand Paul, Burgess Everett. Yesterday, Rand Paul said that they said, absolutely, Pete says he didn't do it. And then today, they admit that he did it. You think there would be some ramifications. Was he incompetent enough not to know that it happened? Or was he lying yesterday? These are really good questions, Rand. Are we going to do something about it? I mean, I know we started how the investigation is going to be asking them whether or not they did the things that we saw that they've been lying about doing before they then admitted that the Washington Post article is what it is that they're admitting to doing. I feel like Jake Tapper is fed up as well, too.
This is what White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said about that earlier today.
Does the administration deny that that second strike happened, or did it happen and the administration denies that Secretary Hegseth gave the order?
The latter is true, Abe.
To clarify, Admiral Bradley was the one who gave that order for a second strike.
And he was well within his authority to do so.
Now, please note, the Trump administration went from the Pentagon spokesman claiming, quote, the entire narrative is false. These people just fabricate anonymously sourced stories out of whole cloth. Fake news is the enemy of the people. He said that 2 days ago. To today, the White House confirmed the story. The Hegseth order, the September 2nd strike, the double tap. Remarkable. The White House's acknowledgement of the double tap comes after Secretary Hegseth went on X and said that the stories were, quote, fabricated, inflammatory, and derogatory, though neither he nor anyone at the Pentagon ever specified what, if anything, was inaccurate.
So is Sean Parnell going to face any consequences? Sean Parnell said that it's all fake news. He said, stop with this fake news. He posted about it and like raging like usual. Sean Parnell, again, he said, we told the Washington Post that this entire narrative was false yesterday. This is on the 28th. This is on Friday. These people just fabricate anonymously sourced stories out of whole cloth. Fake news is the enemy of the people. So if what you said is fake news being the enemy of the people, if it turns out, as we're seeing now, according to, again, Caroline Leavitt and everyone else in your administration, that it's actually not fake news, doesn't it make you the enemy of the people for lying about whether or not the news that we're seeing about the actions that you guys have been carrying out is actually real? Doesn't that mean everything that you talk about is fake? Doesn't it mean every time you deny or say that something is going on that we shouldn't believe you? I feel like that should be the starting point because they lie. I mean, we literally just saw it get played out. Jake Tapper said so. I mean, so I guess we should believe it because Jake Tapper said it. He's on CNN. He doesn't have Trump derangement syndrome. The fallout continues. I wonder if Caroline Leavitt's lying right now. Maybe they flipped the third time and gone back to saying, you know, that reporting actually, now that we're cornered again, it's actually false. What losers these guys are. What incompetent, horrible liars these people are. It's about time for some impeachment proceedings to start. Let's get some action. When's Rand Paul going to start talking about eliminating this president and his corrupt administration, his murderous war criminal administration? When are these guys who are tepid and afraid to say the things out loud going to finally say it?